They asked for surrender. Humanity sent a warning. The galaxy knew the name Drethari Imperium. For 5,000 years they had ruled through fear. Their fleets darkened suns, their armies erased civilizations. Their law was simple: submit or vanish. When their armada entered the quiet Lumera system, no one expected resistance. The Lumerians were peaceful, ocean dwellers with fragile bodies and gentle voices. They had never fought a war. Admiral Croth watched their world from his throne of black crystal. "Transmit the demand," he ordered. The message echoed across the planet. "You will surrender all authority to the Drethari Imperium. Your technology, your culture, your children belong to us. You have 6 hours." On the surface, panic spread. Ambassador Lyra activated an ancient emergency beacon. It was never meant to be used. Her hands trembled. "This is Lumeris. We are under threat. Anyone, please." The signal vanished into deep space. No one answered. Until something appeared. One small vessel exited hyperspace. No escorts, no fleet, just one ship. It looked crude, gray metal, visible weld lines, battle scars across its hull. The Drethari officers laughed. "Identify it," Croth asked. The reply came slowly. "Unknown species, designation Terran, vessel name TSV Resolute. Open communication." A human face appeared, calm, unafraid. "This is Captain Maya Rios of the Terran Stellar Navy," she said. "You will withdraw from this system immediately." The bridge erupted in laughter. "One ship?" Croth mocked. "You challenge an empire with one ship?" Captain Rios smiled slightly. "Yes." "And if we refuse?" Her voice didn't change. "Then you'll learn why humanity doesn't send warnings twice." 3 Drethari destroyers moved forward. They fired first. Green plasma storms slammed into the human ship. The Resolute's shields flared but held. "Return fire," Maya said. The ship's cannons glowed white. Not lasers, not plasma. Something else. The beam cut through the first destroyer instantly. No resistance, no explosion, just gone. The second ship tried to retreat. Too late. It split in half. The third attempted evasive maneuvers. The human ship fired once more. 3 destroyers, 9 seconds. Silence filled space. For the first time in centuries, the Drethari Imperium stopped laughing. Croth leaned forward. "What are these humans?" No one answered. Because far beyond the system, hyperspace began to tear open, and more human ships were arriving. Dozens, then hundreds, and the galaxy finally realized humanity never sends just one ship. They send hope first. War comes later. The Drethari fleet shifted nervously. Moments earlier, they had laughed at a single human ship. Now, space itself was tearing open.
Hyperspace ruptures appeared like cracks in reality. 1, 5, 20. Then the stars vanished behind metal. Human ships, different shapes, different sizes, all armed. At the center of the formation, a massive battleship emerged. Its hull was scarred, but its presence dominated everything. The TSV Titan. Admiral Croth felt something unfamiliar. Fear. On the bridge of the Resolute, Captain Maya Rios allowed herself one small breath. "They came," whispered her first officer. "They always do," Maya replied. A new voice filled every channel in the system, deep, calm, unmistakably human. "This is Admiral Jonathan Hale of the Terran Stellar Navy Second Fleet. You have attacked a protected civilian world. You fired upon a Terran vessel. You ignored a warning." A pause. "You now face consequences." Admiral Croth slammed his fist. "All ships, attack! Destroy them before they form ranks!" The Drathari fleet surged forward. Hundreds of ships, weapons blazing. Space turned into a storm of plasma and fire. But the human ships didn't scatter. They moved together. Perfect coordination, like they had fought this battle 1,000 times. Admiral Hale ordered, "Formation Iron Shield." Human destroyers moved to the front, cruisers flanked the sides, battleships remained behind, charging main cannons. Drathari plasma hit the formation. Human shields absorbed the impact. "Return fire." The Titan fired. A beam wider than a city tore through 3 enemy ships at once. Explosions lit the darkness. On Lumeris, Ambassador Lyra watched the sky. Ships were falling from orbit, but they weren't hers. They were the invaders. Her people began to gather silently, watching. Hope spread like sunrise. Back in space, the Drathari tried new tactics. Boarding parties, Croth ordered. Break them from within. Dozens of boarding pods launched. They slammed into human hulls. Inside the Titan, alarms sounded. "Enemy aboard," reported security. Admiral Hale didn't move. "Let them in." The Drathari soldiers burst through corridors. They expected panic. Instead, they found Marines waiting. Human soldiers in armored suits, calm, still. Then one of them spoke. "You picked the wrong species." The corridor exploded into close combat. The Drathari were stronger. Humans were faster and far more dangerous. The boarding parties never reached the bridge. Outside, the battle turned. Human ships began targeting command nodes. Drathari coordination collapsed. Panic spread. Ships started retreating. Croth stared at the tactical display. Impossible. This had never happened. The Drathari Imperium did not retreat, but now they were running. Admiral Hale opened one final channel. "Drathari fleet, withdraw immediately, or we finish this." Silence. Then Croth spoke. "We withdraw." The order spread.
The invaders jumped to hyperspace. The system fell quiet. On Lumeris, cheers erupted. For the first time, they were safe. Captain Maya looked at the planet below. "We did it," her officer said. She shook her head. "No. We showed them. Humanity doesn't conquer. We protect." Far away in Drathari space, the retreating fleet carried something dangerous. Not weapons, not damage, an idea. They had met humanity and survived. But next time, they might not. Part 3 teaser. The Drathari Imperium prepares revenge. But humanity has already formed an alliance, and the galaxy begins to rise. The Drathari Imperium had never known defeat, but now they had tasted it. In the dark halls of their capital, the High War Council gathered. Massive holograms showed the battle over Lumeris. Human ships, Drathari wreckage, retreat. Silence filled the chamber. Supreme Overlord Varix spoke first. "Explain." Admiral Croth lowered his head. "They fight differently. They protect others. They unite.
Murmurs spread. "Then we break them," Varix replied coldly. "Prepare the Annihilation Fleet." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, something else was happening. The Lumerians broadcast the battle footage. Every oppressed species watched. They saw the Drathari retreat. They saw humans stand their ground. For the first time in centuries, hope returned. On Earth, inside the Terran Alliance command, leaders gathered. Admiral Hale stood before them. "They will come back, stronger." A council member asked, "Can we stop them?" Hale answered simply, "Not alone." Messages went out. Not demands, not threats, invitations. "We stood for you. Stand with us." One by one, responses arrived. The Lumerians sent ships. The Arkan miners offered weapons. The Velori scientists shared shield technology. Even former Drathari subjects joined. The first Galactic Defense Alliance was born. Months later, sensors across the frontier screamed. The Drathari Annihilation Fleet had arrived. Thousands of ships, dreadnoughts larger than cities, weapons designed to erase planets. Admiral Hale looked at the tactical map. "This is it," he said quietly. At Lumeris, Alliance ships gathered. Human vessels at the center, alien ships forming lines beside them. Different designs, different technology, one purpose: protect freedom. Captain Maya Rios stood on the bridge of the repaired Resolute. "Never thought we'd see this," her officer said. "Neither did I, but this is what humanity does. We bring people together." The Drathari fleet advanced. Their leader transmitted one final message: "Submit now. Humanity cannot save you." Admiral Hale responded, "You're right."
A pause. Humanity alone can't. He smiled slightly. But we're not alone anymore. The Alliance fleet surged forward. The battle that followed became legend. Lumerian ships used fluid shield formations. Arkan vessels fired asteroid-breaking cannons. Human destroyers moved like wolves through enemy lines. For the first time in history, the Drathari faced unity. Supreme Overlord Varix watched in disbelief. "They cooperate?" His officer whispered. "They learned it from the humans." Hours passed. The Drathari lines broke. One dreadnought after another fell. Alliance ships held the line. Humans pushed forward. Finally, the Drathari flagship stood alone. Admiral Hale opened a channel. "This ends today." Silence. Then the impossible happened. Varix spoke. "We withdraw." The Drathari fleet retreated, not scattered, not destroyed, but defeated in spirit. The empire that ruled for 5,000 years had been challenged. On Lumeris, the sky cleared. Alliance ships hovered peacefully. Captain Maya looked at the stars. Her officer asked, "Do you think they'll return?" She nodded. "Probably, but next time," she smiled, "we won't find us alone." The Drathari did not retreat quietly. They regrouped. Every conquered world was stripped of ships. Every factory pushed beyond limits. Every soldier called to war. The Imperial Doom Fleet was born. 10,000 warships, planet-killer cannons, commanded by Supreme Overlord Varix himself. This time, they weren't coming to conquer. They were coming to erase. Across the galaxy, alarms spread. The Alliance saw the numbers. Silence filled command rooms. Even Admiral Hale looked grim. "That fleet could wipe out half the Alliance," someone whispered. Captain Maya Rios spoke quietly. "Then we don't let them fight half."
A message was sent to every free world. No politics, no speeches, just 3 words. We stand together. Ships answered, small patrol craft, old cargo vessels converted to warships, prototype cruisers, civilian volunteers. The alliance doubled, then tripled. The galaxy was no longer afraid. The 2 fleets met near the empty Carthos expanse. Stars watched. History waited. Varex transmitted, "This is your final mistake, humans. Unity will not save you." Admiral Hale replied calmly, "No, but it gives us something worth fighting for." The battle began. The Drathari fired first. A planet-killer beam tore through space. An entire Alliance line vanished. But the remaining ships did not retreat. They closed the distance. Human destroyers dove straight into the enemy formation. Lumerian shield ships absorbed massive hits. Archon cannons shattered dreadnought armor. Chaos spread. On the Resolute, Maya shouted, "Target their command relays." Her ship darted between giants. Weapons fired. One relay exploded, then another.
Drathari coordination faltered, but Varex was prepared. Release the annihilation drones. Thousands of black spheres launched, each one capable of destroying a cruiser. They swarmed the Alliance. Explosions filled space. Losses mounted. Even human ships began to fall. Admiral Hale watched quietly. Then he gave one order: execute Phoenix Protocol. Every human ship changed course. Instead of retreating, they charged, straight toward the Drathari flagship. "Are they insane?" a Drathari officer shouted. Varex stared in disbelief. "They're sacrificing themselves." Human ships rammed drones. Shield ships blocked fire. Destroyers burned engines to overload. They carved a path for one ship, the Resolute. Maya's voice was steady. Course locked, full power. Her crew understood. No one objected. They were going straight for the flagship. The Resolute broke through. Weapons offline, hull failing, but momentum carried them forward. "Fire everything," Maya ordered. The last energy reserves discharged. The beam struck the flagship's core. Silence. Then, light swallowed everything. When the glare faded, the Drathari flagship was gone, destroyed. Their command chain collapsed instantly. The Doom fleet scattered. Retreat signals filled space. The Empire had broken. Alliance ships drifted in silence. They searched for survivors. The Resolute was missing. Then a weak signal appeared. Escape pods. Maya and her crew alive. Cheers spread across the fleet. Months later, the Drathari Imperium fractured. Worlds declared independence. Alliances formed. Freedom spread. The war was over. At a ceremony on Limeris, Maya stood beside Admiral Hale. A monument was unveiled. It read, "They stood so others wouldn't fall." Maya looked at the stars. "We didn't win because we were stronger," she said softly. Hale nodded. "We won because we refused to fight alone."